because another game has finished, and that's the game between Hikaru Nakamura and Pyotr Svidler, which has ended in a draw. A lively fight after a Ponciani opening. Yeah. That's how it goes. Hi Peter, hi Hikaru, nice cap.
So you're wearing that cap. We were wondering about that actually.
Yeah, well, you know, I've lost so many games with Peter that I should try something different. I think just about everyone knows the score, so.
And you thought, let's wear it now. It's still allowed now that FIDE is going to abolish caps in chess. There's a new dress code coming up. That's you.
Pretty decent. Yeah. No, I mean I'm looking at the evaluations. We were discussing it.
No, I'm not so worried about the cap.
No. Okay, so.
Yes. Just to get the game.
Did it come as a surprise to you, Peter?
Yeah, clearly. I mean, and that's
start.
And that's well. I mean, I obviously couldn't possibly have guessed it will come today. But once Magnus plays something, you know, you should at least prepare it for Magnus. And I played a somewhat important tournament with Magnus recently, so I maybe could have looked at it at some point, but I didn't. Yeah. And well, my coach used to be a big specialist in the Ponciani, so I know a little bit. And what I know mainly is that in this position there's a number of ways for black to get a slightly difficult endgame, which, well, I mean, passive endgame with, let's say, the pawns on d5 and d6 and the e-pawns gone. Most of those endgames are objectively, I think, very, very holdable. And so I spent like 15 minutes here debating whether I should do that or whether I should go for something slightly more exciting with zero preparation against somebody who has obviously looked at the opening. So it wasn't that easy a choice. But in the end, I thought, you know, 50%, you know, this is a tournament with a very top-heavy price structure, so to speak, you know. So, I mean, playing for 50% doesn't really make much sense here. I thought, you know, let's create something. And the position we get after d3 castles, I have no idea what's going on here, frankly. I mean, clearly black has a lot of development advantage, but, I mean, Hikaru obviously knows better than I do.
Yeah, I mean, okay, I mean, I was still well within my preparation here, but really bishop g4 was the first one that surprised me.
Yeah, I was also, and once again, time management, because rook e8 is such an obvious move. But for me, it was a kind of a tricky thing, because, you know, I'm sitting there and Hikaru is blitzing, and I'm thinking, what do I imagine the first line looks like? And is there any way to play something else? This is, you know, the kind of a thought process that goes through my head here, because I want him to stop blitzing at some point, basically. I want him to start thinking. But I don't want to make a, you know, a deliberately bad move to start to make him start thinking. So here I consider bishop g4 here already. It's not that bad a move, actually. It makes certain sense. But here I thought the difference for me was that here white can play f3, and after bishop d7, the bishop comes out.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, and that's a bit different, because then white is aiming for queen c2, knight g2, and castling long. And, well, I still have some play. I mean, I can go like c5, c4 here, for instance, breaking up something in the sense, or I can try for some knight h5, f5 play. But here it seemed less clear to me whether I'm getting much of anything. So I finally played rook e8. Okay, bishop g5 is a possibility which I also had to waste some time considering, but probably it's not as good as knight g2, since knight g2 was played a tempo. And once again, I think the first line in this position has to be c5.
Yeah, c5 and also bishop f4.
Okay, bishop f4 was just too boring to consider. I didn't want to win. I didn't really consider winning the material back straight away by giving up some bishops. You know, I thought, yeah, that's not, I mean, c5 I did consider quite heavily. Something like castle c4. And this is a reasonably exciting position in which I once again have no idea what's going on. But I had a feeling that Hikaru does. And I thought, is there anything else? And then I spotted bishop g4, and I thought, okay, I should do that, because, you know, at least maybe this has not been as heavily checked. And
well, I mean, you guessed correctly at least, yeah, since I used 20 minutes.
It's an interesting idea, because for the time being, I'm keeping the king in the center. I'm trying to you know, I'm connecting the rooks, trying to keep the king in the center, and also I'm asking a question, because I mean, quite clearly bishop g4, not quite clearly actually, because I thought this made no sense whatsoever for white, because I mean queen f6 and queen h4 huge threats, but then I thought knight f3.
But takes? Or maybe f5.
Yeah, f5 first I think is more precise, and queen takes c6. Now I think I have to take with the d pawn.
D pawn, right?
And this is the big question. Queen d5, king h8, knight g5, e d3 check, king f1. But I guess I can play knight e5. That was my understanding. I mean, it's a tricky position because I
What, knight d5, f4?
yeah, and then some move. I thought maybe bishop e7, for instance. That was what I calculated. Takes, f e
Right,
d2,
yeah,
and I'm in
d2,
time.
yeah,
And I'm in time.
yes.
But once again, it's very difficult to figure out at the board whether you are calculating correctly or just hallucinating. So, and that's a long line, and the longer the line is, as we all know from Bent Larsen, the longer the line, the more the probability of huge blunders somewhere in it. But that was one option for white. Queen takes e6 is a bit crazy, because I think after bishop e2, rook e2, rook e6, queen a4, queen e7. No, not queen e7, c5 immediately, I thought, yeah.
Yeah, I saw some lines like this too, and I mean, maybe the computer thinks it's okay, but it's almost impossible to play this as a human, because...
Yeah, I thought...
I mean, if you're right, then you look like a genius, but if you're
Yeah.
wrong, you look incredibly stupid.
At a price of 2 pawns, I am now absolutely certain to keep the king in the center for a longish time. And I'm planning to break it up by playing c4.
Can I go like king f1 here, maybe?
And then queen e7, I thought.
And g3?
No, but even if let's say if I take twice, how easy will this be for you? Maybe
Can I
just
change and go queen c6?
maybe you can, yeah. But I mean, for a human being, it's difficult to settle on this. And also, I mean, there's maybe bishop f4 here.
Yeah, I mean, it's so hard to play this.
It's difficult to settle on this with white. So and
Still,
that
bishop f4, take on d5?
queen d5,
Queen c4,
rook a8,
knight f3.
and some brilliancy of some sort.
No, maybe you can just take and go rook e2.
Yeah,
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 so
that's
it's more
actually
than enough.
no, but and that leaves Hikaru's choice in the game, and the move f3, I guess. But once again, I mean, after f3, bishop g7, I'm reasonably happy, because I got what I can hope for in this position.
Yeah, I thought this
think.
was actually rather dangerous.
Yeah, because I think, I mean, knight h5,
h5,
f5 is coming very fast, and for instance, if white goes castles, knight h5, g3, f5 is f4 is not particularly good, but I can just
yeah,
take.
You just take.
I can just take, and I'll be very surprised if I'm not winning here, because I'm far ahead. Oh, actually, you have a 4. I completely missed a 4.
Yeah, but still...
Something like a check, maybe.
You don't have it, you can't go for more, probably not, yeah.
This is a lot. I'm not going for a draw. I'm actually playing for a win
You're
here.
trying to win this here.
Yeah, I think so.
King h2?
I have rook e6 in the end.
King g2?
Bishop h3,
King f3?
bishop g4. Oh, no,
King
bishop g4,
e3.
king rounds, yeah. This doesn't work. Yeah, but I mean, it's kind of, old master
Yeah,
style. Who knows what's going on, but it's, fun to discuss. And once again, it's not easy to choose this with white, because it's just one pawn. For like 3, it would
Right,
be
yes.
would be okay, but for 1, it's a bit dangerous. So queen g1. Unfortunately, I can't take on e4 because there's no mate. But then I realized I can just play this, and I was happy for a bit. de, knight e4, and queen h4. And in general, the endgame would be slightly worse for me if white had a little bit more time. But you can't really get a favorable version here. I mean, the only version that made some sense to me was like g3, takes, rook takes, bishop e3,
Bishop c5?
bishop c5, and giving it up. Takes, rook e3, something like rook d7, rook c8, and rook hd1. But this is possibly a losing attempt, not a winning attempt after h5. I mean, if you swap everything and go after the
Right, yeah,
pawn, I mean,
it's
the
very
h2 pawn
dangerous.
is also dropping, and
Yeah,
I'm
it's
probably
but I mean, it's,
I'm probably
it's
starting first here, so
Right.
it's quite possibly just a losing attempt. So I wasn't that much worried about it. Which leaves pretty much what Hikaru did: g4, f5, and here bishop e3 is a very strong move. It's important that after bishop g5 have queen takes g4, and I'm just better. So bishop b3.
Right, because take on f5, then queen e4. Right. Yeah, the whole end game. If I take on f5 first, then queen e4 takes.
Yeah,
takes.
if white starts with g5, he gives me an additional option of doing it this way. Takes, bishop b3 and rook f8, and I think black is just very comfortable with the, with the kingside structure.
Yeah, because
ruined.
the kingside pawns are.
Yeah, I mean after castles I can even waste a tempo on a6 maybe and then collect on f5. If anyone is better, I think it's black, but should be a draw anyway. So bishop b3, which I actually missed, so I have to take with the rook, and now gf5. And I was worried for a second here, because initially I thought I will play either queen h3 or queen f6 and just collect on f5. But after queen f6, unfortunately queen f3 seems to be very strong, and my pieces get a bit tangled up. I can't really comfortably continue here. Maybe rook c4 actually, but maybe bishop d4 might be.
Yeah, or
I don't know.
you want to take on c3.
I want to take on c3. Yeah. Maybe this was an option actually. I kind of failed to consider rook c4 during the game.
Bishop d4?
Bishop d4, I thought maybe bishop b5 straight away.
Queen e2?
Kind of dropping material yet again. Yeah. No, but I had a feeling that once I start putting my pieces onto awkward squares, it might go quite badly for me. So, and queen h3, of course, if not for f6, black would have no problems whatsoever. But f6 is obviously a very important
basically
move.
when I went for this, I missed this queen e6 idea.
Yeah.
I stopped right here. After
Yeah. Otherwise, I think white is somewhat better. Although actually g6 might be a decent move.
g6 castles.
And then queen e6.
But then queen
and then
e6.
queen a, yeah, but it's very important that I don't want to allow the queen to a6. It's very important for me to stop this, because then I get hassled on the queen side quite a bit, and it's not that easy for me to continue. It's very once again, just a short note: if white starts with castles here, whoops, no, king d1 is not a particularly good move. Castles. The big difference is, of course, that here I have queen b5.
Right, and now your pawn structure.
Yeah, and I even improved my pawn structure on the queen side, and I'm probably better. So f6, and now queen e6, which is a very important move. And we get to this position where I think black should have enough for a draw, but probably not more than that, because...
but I think f takes g7 is also probably the only move.
Yeah, I thought
Otherwise,
so,
I think
because
it's
if you start with castles, I thought after queen a2 you might be in a lot of trouble here,
Right,
potentially,
exactly.
because after queen c2 I have rook b8. Whoops.
Right, yeah, and then you have the same bishop a3
I have rook b8, and
Rook b2 or bishop
after rook
a3,
g2, I think I can
Just
play
g6,
g6. Yeah, because I can't go for that because I get mated there. Yeah, but after g6 I think I'm fine, and basically always after rook d6 I have queen a2, king g2, queen g1. I mean queen a1 and queen g1, because queen e4 is impossible because of rook b2, and I swap the queens off. Yeah.
Exactly.
Let's just
Well,
show
actually,
that. Yeah.
Same with queen d1 just one.
Yeah, but I mean,
Right, yeah, okay.
prosaically, I can
Yeah.
play queen b1 check,
Right.
exchange queens, and take on d6.
Right.
So if you don't take on g7, yeah, I thought fg7 is pretty much forced if you want to continue. And here, my initial idea was to play bishop f4, and then after castles to take on a2. But then I spotted that in this position white has queen f3. I was very happy about this because I thought, for instance, if queen c2, I go...
Rook e3, right?
Queen c2, rook e3, but if... Yeah, sorry. In which... Yeah, there was some position in which this was kind of important. Can't figure it out now. There was some... How was I getting there? Was maybe not in... I have a very clear picture in my head, but I can't work out why. Yeah, queen d3. Yeah, of course, yeah. Queen d3, rook b8, rook d2. And here I have rook e3,
Right.
f e3,
No, but this
bishop
is still a
e3,
draw, no? Queen e3?
queen e3, queen a1.
King c2?
Yeah, this is a draw.
This
but
is still, yeah, that's
yeah,
not
no,
this
but
also.
this was a very important line for my understanding of what's going on, basically. And after king d3, I take on g2, king g2, queen h1, and you
Yeah,
have to give a
queen e8.
perpetual.
Right, exactly.
Yeah. So, and I thought this is how the game is very likely to end. But then I spotted that in this position you have queen f3. And after rook b8 you have rook d8 check, which was very unfortunate. Rook takes d8, queen takes c4, and after rook b8 the queen goes to c2. I think it's even stronger than queen b1. Because after queen b1 I can go like...
No, I mean, it's
queen
still probably enough for a draw, but
yeah,
okay, but
and
it's
maybe
not,
maybe
not
black is
anything.
holding, but I don't really want to be checking, whether I'm holding here or not. It's not going to be particularly pleasant. So I started looking for alternatives.
Wait, are you sure you're not winning there after queen c2? Can you go bishop d6 now?
Maybe. Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah, this is might be winning.
Yeah, so okay, let's stop with the fancy stuff, yeah.
Right, yeah, just queen b1.
Yeah.
So. Yeah, actually, because now you have to trade bishop.
Yeah, I think now I have to take and play queen e6, and you play rook e1, and then queen c2, and at some point I will have to take on g7, and then my king will no longer be so safe. And this wasn't particularly fun, so I started looking for options, and I found two. One which was very attractive for me for a bit was queen g5, a very strange looking move, but basically I am hitting both rooks. I think rook g1 is the only move, because obviously rook g1, rook e3 just loses a piece. That's the major thing. So rook g1, and for instance rook e8 here. Other moves are also possible, but that was the one I was checking. Now bishop f4 is a huge threat. There's also actually bishop takes h2. This is not completely...
Yeah, bishop takes h2, rook g5?
This is not completely ridiculous. After rook g5 I can maybe even take. I mean, I'm not probably much worse in this endgame.
Right, that's also true, yeah.
With the h-pawn. But I was hoping to play for domination, but after rook e8, you go rook g1, I thought I'll take on a2, and then rook g4. And it's a strange position, which I suspect I'm not really doing that badly here, but I wasn't sure what was going on. And then I saw a different option, and I finally settled on that. I thought rook b8 might be a good idea here. Because now castles is obviously impossible because of queen a2, and rook g1 doesn't really make any sense whatsoever because bishop takes h2, among other things. So I thought b3 was forced. Unfortunately, I can't go bishop f4 because now...
Yeah, now I just castle.
Yeah, you castle. And I don't think I'm equal in this position, because you go queen c2, king b2, rook g2, and here your king is actually
but
quite
you can
safe.
go rook e2, no? Rook e2?
Rook g2?
Queen e3?
Maybe rook hd1. Rook
Rook
d8.
takes h2, or rook d8, yeah.
So maybe even this was possible. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I saw this in let's see.
Rook e2. This could be a good idea for me. Yeah, quite possibly.
Wait, but I think after rook takes e3, I was gonna play something else. I think I was gonna play. Yeah, I think I was just gonna go queen d2 here. Queen d2, rook e2, and rook he1, and just force a draw.
Oh, okay.
Because takes.
So actually, my
rook
position
a2,
is
rook d7,
even safer than I assumed. Yeah, I mean, this probably holds.
Wait, but actually, do I have? Wait, instead of rook e1, do I have queen g5 actually with rook d8?
Possibly, yeah. No, but this
okay,
somehow
yeah,
didn't
then,
appeal
yeah,
to me all that
yeah.
much, because I'm exchanging too many pieces, and my bishop on d6 is hugely important because it stops everything along the g file. I didn't want to trade it that easily. So my point was a5 and just play for complete domination, and for a bit I was thinking that I might actually be playing for a win here. And then I spotted this queen f3 move, because I think after b4 c5 I'm just very comfortable.
Oh, but before I thought you go a3 first, because on c5, then
maybe
c5 a3. I actually don't see how you're breaking through now.
I thought I can just
Takes.
with which,
Take with the c pawn.
and something like just rook b8, I thought once
And rook
again.
d3.
And just go for it.
You want to go for this end.
Yeah, because now
this one
a3
with
is actually
right,
the target
right.
now.
Yeah.
Because you can never castle kingside,
No,
so
can I can castle though.
Can you?
Yeah, now I can castle.
Why?
What? King g2? Wait, you have some rook g4.
I don't think this is ever.
Yeah,
I don't think this is ever a good idea.
No,
frankly.
of course I don't want to.
No, I think casting short is because of bishop h2 is just never on the card.
Yeah, I mean, I thought it was dangerous in general. I mean, when I saw queen f3 and rook takes d6, why even bother going for this?
Yeah. So my initial assessment here that despite being 2 pawns down, I'm the one who's playing for a win. But after queen f3, I couldn't really spot any way in, because after takes, obviously rook b3 runs into rook d6. So this stops my play on the queen side. But rook b8 is a very comfortable draw. because now, I mean, bishop f4 is a huge threat, and also, I mean, I will take on b3 simply if given a chance.
Right.
So I think rook g4 just has to be played, and then takes queen b3. And once again, I mean, if you don't take on c6, I'm just not
Right, yeah, you just
I'm
go
just
queen
not
d5
worth. Yeah, I
and
mean, after
playing
queen
for a
d5,
while.
I'm just playing. Well, it's probably a draw, but why would you do that? So queen c6, and I take on e3, and it's a perpetual. So all in all, I guess we're both somewhat disappointed with the draw, because we both need to be moving somewhere in the tournament. But from the purely chess point of view, I'm very satisfied with that game. I thought it was a fun game and a decently played game.
Well, that's wonderful. You just ask Peter, how did the game go? And then there's a story of half an hour, and he says, well, all in all, great. That was great to.
I did try to have it slightly more.
No, it was wonderful. It was wonderful. All the details.
Inclusive
and-
today. Yeah.
No.
If I didn't manage, I apologize.
But I wonder about something. When you play someone like Nakamura, we heard a little bit about preparation yesterday, but when you play someone so incredibly unpredictable, is it necessary to prepare at all against such a player?
Basically, I have a kind of a ranking of rest days in my head. So I will try to explain what I mean. Like preparing for Vasily is a rest day.
Vasily Ivanchuk.
Yeah. If I have Ivanchuk, especially with white, I just don't bother, because I know I will not guess the first move. So why waste time? And the same, I guess, applies to black, but to a slightly less degree. A smaller degree, and but this is like top of the rest day rankings, and Hikaru, he comes high on the list, but I thought not high enough. I thought I have a chance of guessing at least the first move, so I did prepare for some open positions. Not this one clearly, but for some. Maybe I should be upgrading the list, yeah, and just maybe I should just stop preparing altogether. But
Looks like he gained points today.
yeah, I mean, yeah, that kind of shows me the futility of my efforts. Yeah.
No.
But I wasn't doing it as heavily as for some other games where I thought I have actually a chance of getting something on the board, which we looked at.
Yeah. Well, Peter, you've played a lot of games lately.
Yes, that's very true.
How are you doing? I mean,
I'm
you
doing okay
played
today.
a couple of
I'm doing
Peter
okay
played
today,
a couple of
but-
tournaments in a row, and in between some leagues and
Yeah. Well, I find it very hard to say no to good invitations, and then I find myself in a position of running out of ideas and steam somewhat. But today I'm optimistic. Tomorrow might be a completely different story.
you showed many ideas today.
Yeah. I mean,
And even showed
There
them
are-
to the spectators.
there are good days and bad days. Today is a reasonably good day.
Yeah. Hikaru, you're a bit closer in vying for first place. You're half a point ahead of Peter. And how are things looking for you?
Well, okay. I assume that I play Sergey tomorrow, unless I'm completely crazy. So I have my
Yeah.
chance. I have my chance, just like the other players. Today I think was I actually felt I played quite well today. I mean, realistically, I felt I missed some chances yesterday, much more so. Whereas today, Peter, I think just played. I mean, I think both of us played almost perfectly. Played an almost perfect game objectively, and so it's okay. I'm on +1. I mean, in such a strong field, and also I'm not trying to jinx myself, but I still have Hammer to play. So I like where I'm at. It could be better, but okay, +1. I mean, who would have expected Sergey to be on +3 at this point,
No.
or whatever's happening in his game now? So
He did take the A-pawn.
okay, so it's gonna get interesting.
Yeah. We were discussing it while we were waiting for our turn that we're not sure winning the a4 pawn in the Anand Karakin game is a winning attempt or not, because it opens up black's position to a lot of potential problems. So, but he did go for it, so that's going to become interesting soon.
Well, I must confess I don't see many tweets in my life, but I saw one yesterday. Hikaru, you congratulated Gata Kamsky on winning the US Championship. I thought that was classy. Did you follow the playoff?
Yeah, actually I did follow it. I mean, due to the timing of when it started and having finished my game, I did follow it quite a bit. It's great to see Gata win. I mean, I think at this point in time, we are the two best players in America, and we always seem to be board 1 and 2 for the Olympiad. So it's just great. I mean, of course, God is not as young as I am, but it's still good to see him, you know, winning tournaments and proving that he's still a very strong player.
Have there ever been any plans for a match between the two of you?
Not that I know of, but you know, it's, you know, at this point in time, you know, I think we're at different points in our career. So, I mean, I'm sure God would be up for it. I don't know. Maybe I would consider it, but at the moment, I mean, there are other plans.
There's other things you're thinking about.
Did he win easily the playoff?
No, he didn't win easily. That's for sure. He didn't win it easily.
I completely forgot to
No,
check that.
probably shouldn't have won it, but okay. I mean,
Okay.
it was good enough.
Good. Well, thank you very much for being here, and well, use the opportunity to wear this cap now that it's still allowed. I mean, there's many people who like it.
I only wear it when I'm playing as players, you know, with whom I have very bad scores.
So it's some sort of a compliment too.
I guess, yeah.
Well, we'll keep an eye on that, and first thing to watch tomorrow is he wearing a cap or not?
Well, I mean, also, I don't know. Tomorrow we play somewhere else, don't we? Isn't tomorrow the island day?
Yeah, tomorrow we're moving to an island, but it will be broadcast anyway.
No, but are we playing outside or not? I mean,
No.
Okay, yeah. So then, okay.
No, it's a wooden house, but it's a house. So don't worry, there will be an internet connection and everything. Yeah. So well, thanks Peter. Thanks Hikaru. That was great.